The diplomatic chamber aboard the Zenith Crown hummed with tension as Ambassador Jessica of the Valorian Empire signed the treaty with trembling fingers. Her violet skin seemed to pale under the artificial lights as she glanced at the human standing beside her. Jox Chen, a decorated officer from Earth's Colonial Defense Force. By this union, our peoples are bound, High Chancellor Vexith announced, his crystalline voice echoing through the hall. May this marriage seal the peace between Valoria and humanity. Jessica had studied humans extensively before agreeing to this arranged marriage. They were a young species, barely 3 centuries into space travel, yet they had managed to hold their own against the Valorian fleet for 5 brutal years. The war had devastated both sides. Peace was the only logical choice. Jox met her eyes and offered a gentle smile. I'll do my best to be a good husband, he said quietly. His words translated through her neural implant. She nodded stiffly. Valorians didn't marry for love, they married for duty, for genetic compatibility, for political alliance. This human seemed to understand that, at least. The first 3 months were surprisingly pleasant. Jox was patient, respectful, and genuinely interested in Valorian culture. He learned their language without relying on translators, studied their history, and even adopted some of their customs. Jessica found herself looking forward to their evening conversations, where he would share stories of Eartherworld with actual weather, seasons, and something called rain. Your people seem so chaotic, she observed one evening as they dined in their shared quarters. How did you ever achieve space? Jox laughed. Chaos is kind of our specialty. We're not the strongest or the smartest species in the galaxy, but we're adaptable and stubborn. Stubborn, Jessica repeated, testing the word. Is that why you fought us for 5 years when you were clearly outmatched? His expression grew serious. We were protecting our colonies, our families. When you're defending what you love, you find strength you didn't know you had. Jessica didn't fully understand, but she was beginning to appreciate the strange contradictions of humans, how they could be both gentle and fierce, logical and emotional, peaceful and warlike. The peace lasted exactly 4 months. The Kian Horde emerged from the dark reaches beyond the outer rim, their massive fleet tearing through settled space like a plague of locusts. They had conquered 17 systems in 3 weeks. Valoria and Earth's colonies lay directly in their path. We need to evacuate the embassy district, Jessica said, studying the tactical displays in their quarters. The Krellians will reach this sector in 48 hours. No, Jox said quietly. He was standing by the viewport watching the distant stars. We're not running, don't be foolish. The Krellians are a level 4 threat civilization. They've destroyed species more advanced than either of ours. The logical choice is retreat and regrouping. Jox turned to face her, and Jessica felt a chill run through her body. His eyes, those soft brown eyes that had gazed at her with such warmth, now held something cold and terrible, something ancient and primal. You've never seen humans fight when we have something to protect, he said. You saw us in a war of politics and territory. But this, he gestured to the tactical display showing the Krellian fleet. This is different. Within hours, Jox had mobilized every human ship in the sector. Jessica watched in amazement as he coordinated with Earth's military command, implementing strategies that seemed reckless, even suicidal. He divided their small fleet into rapid strike teams, abandoning all conventional defensive formations. This is madness, she whispered to her aide. They'll be slaughtered. But when the Krellian vanguard arrived, Jessica witnessed something she would never forget. The human ships moved like nothing she had ever seen. Unpredictable, adapting instantly to enemy fire. They used asteroid fields as weapons, detonating mines in precise sequences that created cascading explosions. They rammed enemy vessels when ammunition ran low. They broadcast false surrender signals, then ambushed boarding parties, and Jox, her gentle, patient husband, commanded them like a conductor leading an orchestra of violence. Alpha Squadron, target their command ships, starboard reactor. Bravo, draw their fighters into the debris field. Charlie, prepare for suicide run on their carrier. Wait for my mark. Suicide run, Jessica gasped, monitoring the battle from the embassy's command center. Those are people. They volunteered, Jox said without looking away from his displays. Every single one. That's what humans do. We volunteer to die so others can live. The battle lasted 16 hours. When it ended, 3/4 of the Krellian vanguard had been destroyed or forced to retreat. The human fleet was decimated. Only 30% of their ships survived. But the embassy district, with its 3 million Valorian citizens, remained intact. Jessica found Jox in the medical bay, his arm in a regeneration sleeve from when his command ship had been hit. He looked exhausted, haunted even, but when he saw her, that gentle smile returned. I'm sorry you had to see that, he said quietly. That's not who I want to be, but it's who I am when people I care about are threatened. Jessica sat beside him, her mind reeling. Her people had spent 5 years fighting humans and learned nothing about them. They had seen human determination, human tactics, human resilience, but they had never understood what drove it. You called it chaos, Jox continued, staring at his bandaged arm. But it's more than that. Humans, we're a species that evolved as both predator and prey. We know what it's like to be hunted. We know fear, and that makes us dangerous, because we'll do anything to protect those we love from experiencing that fear. Even die, Jessica said softly. Especially die. She reached out and took his hand, a gesture of intimacy rare among Valor. I married you for peace, she said, but I think I'm beginning to understand why peace with humanity was always the only option. Not because you're weak, but because you're terrifying. Jox laughed, a sound both bitter and warm. We prefer to think of ourselves as determined. Stubborn, Jessica corrected, and for the first time in her life, she smiled not from duty or politeness, but from something deeper, something almost human. The Krellians never returned to that sector. Word spread through the galaxy of the humans who had held impossible odds, who had fought like demons to protect not just their own people, but their allies. The Valorian-human alliance grew stronger, not from treaties or marriages, but from respect earned in fire and blood. And in their quarters that night, as Jessica held her husband and listened to his heartbeat, that uniquely human rhythm, she finally understood the words he had spoken months ago. When you're defending what you love, you find strength you didn't know you had. She had married a human for peace, but she had gained a war god who fought not from hate, but from love. And that, she realized, made all the difference. The end.